You're watching Camnet News. Thank you so much for choosing us. We apologize for starting the news a bit late. However, we are here. The stories making headlines on our desk. Health Minister SYLVIA MASEBO attributes the debate on shortage of drugs to the opposition. UPND Councillor MAINDA SIMATAA admits accusing Patriotic Front given LUBINDA of corruption. Government to systematically clean up the civil service charges the Vice President Mutale Nalumango. In international news, Ethiopian rebels agree to uphold humanitarian ceasefire. And in sports, CHIPOLOPOLO beat CONGO BRAZZAVILLE by 3-1.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Once again, thank you for choosing us. My name is Sharon Kalimbola, and the news in detail. United Party for National Development Kamwala Ward 5 Area Councillor MAINDA SIMATAA has admitted before the Lusaka High Court that he appeared on various media platforms, including Camnet TV, where he alleged that the opposition Patriotic Front acting president given LUBINDA is using his foundation to deprive the community a skills center in Kamwala, Lusaka. Mr. SIMATAA, who has been sued in the Lusaka High Court by Given LUBINDA Foundation Limited for allegedly interfering on a skills training center in Kamwala, states that the plaintiff will not suffer irreparable damages if the case is disposed of, as the said property is a training center. Details in this report.
The issues surrounding the Kamwala Community Skills Center seem not to be ending anytime soon, as United Party for National Development Kamwala Ward 5 Councillor MAINDA SIMATAA respond to a lawsuit made against him by opposition Patriotic Front acting president Given LUBINDA through his foundation called Given LUBINDA Foundation Limited. In his affidavit in opposition, Mr. SIMATAA tells the High Court that Mr. LUBINDA illegally occupied the land in question and still maintains his assertions. He further disclosed that it is not in dispute he appeared on various media platforms, among them Camnet TV, in his position as councillor, and was speaking on behalf of the people who lodged a complaint against the former Kawata Member of Parliament on how he used his influence at the time he was the area Member of Parliament and Minister to illegally acquire the Skills Center, a property he says belongs to the community, thereby depriving them. In this lawsuit, Mr. LUBINDA, through his foundation, has sued Mr. SIMATAA seeking an injunction preventing him from interfering with his peaceful and quiet enjoyment of the land in question in Kamwala, Lusaka. Mr. LUBINDA, through his foundation Given LUBINDA Foundation Limited, is also seeking the Lusaka's High Court's order of injunction and damages for inconvenience, among other reliefs. In its statement of claim, the foundation stated that the core business was supporting vulnerable people through projects, scholarship campaign for children, and women's right, skills training and development, and that it had made a contract with the Lusaka City Council on the said stand plot number in Kamwala South up to August 31st, 2023. But in his affidavit in opposition, Mr. SIMATAA has denied interfering on the said property as alleged by the foundation. Mr. SIMATAA has also told the Lusaka High Court that the plaintiff has not shown any evidence of the damages he claims to have suffered, adding that this case violates the rules of the court as they amount to a prayer and not facts, hence should be dismissed with cost. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Constitutional Court has dismissed the application in which Patriotic Front's Patrick Banda wants to file out of time his appeal challenging the local government tribunal's decision to nullify his Lusangazi election on grounds that he had a fake grade 12 school certificate. In a ruling, Judge Mungeni Mulenga says Mr. Banda was required to file his appeal during the stipulated time in accordance with the law, hence his application is dismissed for lack of jurisdiction. Mr. Banda's election was petitioned by losing UPND candidate Friend Banda for allegedly using a fake grade 12 certificate to file nomination during the delayed Lusangazi Council chairperson election.
His attempt to appeal out of time against the decision by the local government tribunal to nullify his election as Patriotic Front Lusangazi Council chairperson Patrick Banda has had his application before the Constitutional Court dismissed. Mr. Banda had filed an application before the Constitutional Court seeking the court's mercy to file his appeal, challenging the nullification of his election after the stipulated time. Recently, the local government tribunal nullified his election after being petitioned by losing UPND candidate Fred Banda on account that he was using a fake grade 12 school certificate to file his nomination during the delayed Lusangazi Council chairperson election, and the court found that indeed he did not possess a school certificate. Not satisfied with this judgment, Mr. Banda then rushed to the Constitutional Court, hoping that the judgment rendered by the lower court on the 1st of December 2021 can be overturned and he can retain his seat back. However, in passing its ruling on the application, the Constitutional Court says Rule 24 of the Local Government Election Tribunals, Rules 2016, requires an intending appellant to file a notice of appeal with the Registrar of the Constitutional Court within 14 days after judgment. Judge Mungeni Mulenga has also indicated that after judgment was rendered on the 1st of December 2021, Mr. Banda on the 3rd of the same month filed a notice of appeal before the tribunal, but did not file the said appeal before the Constitutional Court Registry as required by Order 9 Rule 3, stating that Mr. Banda only filed his application on the 22nd of February 2022, pleading the delayed occasioned by the tribunal. The court has since dismissed his application for want of jurisdiction on ground that he did not file his appeal on time. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Lands and Natural Resources Minister Elijah Muchema says the national land policy needs to be reviewed in conformity to the current demands. In the year 2021, the Patriotic Front launched the national land policy, which stakeholders described as a milestone, given that Zambia has had not a national land policy since independence. The minister has, however, noted the need to engage traditional leaders so that they can surrender some portion of land to the state and resolve some of the land challenges. Meanwhile, Mr. Mchima reiterates that corruption at the Ministry of Lands remains top of his agenda while serving as minister.
Issues. The land policy, we need to review it. We need to review the land policy. We see a new direction. As I said, there are some pieces of land that are sitting with mine houses. There are some pieces of land that needs to come back to the government through the Ministry of Land so that it can be allocated to the demands of the people. The population has increased. The population has increased, and as we are saying, God has stopped creating land. We will never create any more land. We need to utilize the little that is with us, and also we need to liaise with the local traditional rulers so that they can exercise some more pieces of land to the ministry for allocation. And we need to be prudent and transparent when we are allocating this land through the councils. Councils are agents of the Ministry of Lands. Ministry of Lands is the principal owner of land in whatever category. whether there is mining, there is what, there is this misuse of lands on behalf of the president. And the president is the custodian of all land in Zambia.
Health Minister SYLVIA MASEBO has alleged that the reported shortage of medicines in the country is political. Ms. MASEBO, who spoke at a media briefing in Lusaka Friday, says her ministry will continue to stabilize the supply of medicines in the country, even though it would take some time. Meanwhile, Minister of Finance has indicated that it has released a total of 867 million kwacha in January and February 2022 for the procurement of drugs and medical supplies. Prudence Jota filed this report.
Information obtained from the Ministry of Finance has indicated that a sum of 217 million kwacha was released to the Ministry of Health in January 2022 for the procurements of drug and medical supplies. A further 650 million kwacha was released in February 2022 for the procurement of the same. This brings the total amount of resources released for the procurements of drugs and medical supplies to 8,607 million kwacha in 2 months. The recent reported shortage of medicines in the country, however, raises more questions than answers, such as what has happened with the 867 million kwacha released for the procurement of drugs. Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary Administration Dr. George Mangwende, when asked, has explained that all the resources were channeled to ZAMSA, which has the mandate to procure drugs.
Yes, indeed, the money was released and the money moved to ZAMSA, which is our procuring entity when it comes to drugs. You might be aware, ladies and gentlemen, that ZAMSA has been procuring medications, and a specific day in point is yesterday. Amongst the other procurements that we were doing, yesterday we did quite a huge procurement from a named contractor.
Meanwhile, Health Minister SYLVIA MASEBO says the reported shortage of medicines is political and that our ministry will continue to stabilize the supply of medicines in the country, even though this will take some time.
Whilst in some facilities the availability of drugs may be low, he also knows that in some facilities it is not an issue. And this halabaloo is all political in most cases. And I'm also happy to say that we shall continue to stabilize the supply of drugs in this country.
And the minister says typhoid outbreak was reported in Mbala district and has urged citizens to ensure that they boil their drinking water, avoid eating cold foods, and take precaution not to contract typhoid.
People with symptoms of fever should report to the nearest healthcare facility. 2, everyone should continually observe personal and community hygiene to avoid possible spread of the infection. 3, everyone ought to be careful and sure of the source of their drinking water. It is important to boil water for drinking or treat it with chlorine.
And Minister of Science and Technology Felix Mutati says his ministry has come up with a technology aimed at tracking the movements of drugs from the point of procurement to the point of entry and distribution in the country.
This is a very important tracking mechanism where we shall know that a Panadol manufactured in Egypt arrived in Zambia with a QR code, delivered at our medical stores, and wherever it's been distributed, it will be identified.
The health minister also took time to update the media on the COVID-19 situation in the country, where she has reported that 1 COVID-19 death was recorded in the last 24 hours and has encouraged members of the public to not drop their guard but continue adhering to the COVID-19 guidelines. Prudence Jota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Meanwhile, Director Spokesperson in the Ministry of Information and Media, Tabo Kawana, has backed President Hakainde Hichilema's statement that the shortage of medicines is temporary and will soon be sorted out. Speaking to journalists after touring the Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency, Mr. Kawana says information obtained is that the medicines are being procured and distributed to the health facilities steadily while undergoing quality assurance, which sometimes takes time to conclude. He notes that medicines such as those for tuberculosis, hypertension and antiretroviral therapy are available. And ZAMSA warehouse officer Ernest Sinyenda says the system is watertight to ensure there is a clean audit trail of medicines. Details of this.
This is the Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency warehouse, responsible for storing drugs needed in over 2,500 health facilities countrywide. While the warehouse looks full to capacity and heavy of activity, its failure to allegedly provide the necessary drugs in public health facilities has been great subject of debate by various stakeholders, amongst them members of the public. To ascertain exactly what is happening, Director spokesperson in the Ministry of Information and Media, Tabokawana, towards ZAMSA Friday afternoon.
I think we are satisfied after having conducted a tour that we have the issue of the drug situation in the country being attended to, and actively so. We have been able to see that drugs are rolling in. We have drugs coming into the facility. We have drugs that are being put on quality assurance within the facility, which is about 48 hours or more, depending on the situation, because some drugs have to be quality assured within, but others may need to be taken to Zambia Bureau of Standards laboratory, and that may take a little bit longer. But then also we have enough drugs now going out of the facility, going to the health facilities. But let's be mindful of the two factors: the time consumed with quality assurance and also the demand out there. But we are sure that within the next 3 to 4 weeks, the demand will be adequately met and the story of drug shortages will be a thing of the past. We do realize and recognize that we've had a problem with the drugs, but like was said even yesterday by His Excellency, the situation was not as bad as it was being portrayed, like there was completely no drugs. There are a bit of drugs out there, but they were scanty.
And Mr. Kawana explained what might have caused further delays in the procurement of medicines as a result of legal process involved in trying to clear up the system.
There's a problem with the drugs, and the problem has been attended to. The issue also to understand is that previously the Ministry of Health was the one buying the drugs, but now that mandate to procure the drugs has been given to ZAMSA. So ZAMSA are the ones buying. But they couldn't just outrightly start buying because they needed to attend to legal matters, which Office of the Attorney General has since attended. And now monies have been released and ZAMSA is procuring the medication. ZAMSA is on site as we're talking. They are also engaging suppliers of the drugs. Why are they engaging them? Because previously the suppliers were able to sell the medicine to our government at exorbitant prices because of the previous procurement system where it took a year plus to pay the suppliers.
And ZAMSA warehouse manager cleared the air about the suspected pilferage of medicines from health facilities.
Our system is watertight in the sense that it's meant to guard against pilferage and also to make sure that there is an audit trail and traceability of each and every carton that arrives in ZAMSA from the time that it arrives up to the time that it goes to the health facility. Our trucks are also, at the time of delivery, our trucks are also affixed with serialized seals besides the padlocks to make sure that whoever is receiving the consignments can actually check that the tamper-proof seal is intact from the time that it was loaded in Lusaka up to the time that it gets to the health facility out there in the districts.
Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
In a related development, Judith Tembo, a resident of Lusaka, has applauded government for its assurance that the shortage of medicines will soon be rectified. In an interview with Camnet News, Ms. Tembo notes that most health facilities have had no medical supplies, which has negatively affected those seeking medical attention, especially those without resources to go to private institutions.
President bakamba kuti inde mankwala akazifika mvipatala vonse but naise takondwera nda monga bantu tikatwala tikaenda mvipatala makamati mankwala kulibe pakina kupasa panado achitokuza ti akulembera cheka pepa tikakuleni maiti zakula bwanji tilipendera maero pakuti chamene tibwerera ku hospital nikuti tandizo kaye nishitiliye ndalama zaswa itawera ku hospital. So that's why chamene timabwerera ku chipatala So tipuna kuti tandizo monga iyo mwaka bila president kuti mankwala zambo pezeka manje awe seta kondwera tambwa bwino muntu aliyosa zambera bwino ndawe nango upeze kuti uyende ku hospital ufira pa gedi pakino ufira pa laeni na mankwala kasi mulibe muchipatala kungo zitwala tia kuti ndikangofira tia pa gedi akanike muchiteni mmochali kambaka kuti sinachite naenda ku hospital.
Vice President Mutale Nalumango says the United Party for National Development Administration will clean up the civil service on a case-by-case basis to avoid being accused of political persecution. She says the United Party for National Development Administration will not replace Patriotic Front cadres with UPND cadres, but will make recruitments professionally. The Vice President says people are entitled to belong to any political party as long as it does not conflict with their professional duties. They will not be fired. She made the remarks during the Vice President's question and answer session in Parliament. In the meantime, Mrs. Nalumango has expressed optimism that the Financial Crimes Court will achieve convictions in cases before it despite the complexity of these crimes. According to the Vice President, as of yesterday, 24th March 2022, 8 cases were before the Financial Crimes Court, which was recently established to prosecute financial crimes.
Professionals in those positions. And whether we say they are UPND sympathizers, they must be professional. That is number one. That is the criteria for employment. It should not be a cadre who goes there to perform politics and who runs away after elections. Since elections, you have been gone. Such a person, I am standing in the people's house, must be removed now because he has failed to perform. It's because he knows his own history. And such should not be attributed. And tomorrow, that one, we will say persecution. That is not persecution, that is simply failure. And therefore, when we are saying, when are we going to clean up the civil service, it has to be case by case and on sincere failure, not witch hunt, on sincere failure. That one must go. We want to have a proper public service full of professionals. That is what we are going to do as
Teachers Multi-Purpose Cooperative Society claims it has found a solution to end teachers' indebtedness, which is said to have been affecting their productivity over the years. Cooperative Chairperson Joanne Salas, who spoke at the launch of a test course in Lusaka Friday, says the cooperative is aimed at working with at least 1,000 teachers per province who will engage in various business ventures to help them raise resources. And Ministry of Education Permanent Secretary Technical Services Jowo Kamoko has urged teachers in the country to take advantage of cooperatives and make extra resources for them.
The announcement of the debt swap initiative for teachers in the country brought a lot of excitement among the teachers who are believed to be over-indebted, a situation that has been affecting their productivity. While debt swap does not offer a lasting solution to the indebtedness challenge, the teachers have taken it upon themselves to find a lasting solution to end teachers' indebtedness. To this effect, some teachers have launched the Teachers Multi-Purpose Cooperative Society term course meant to bring together teachers in all the 10 provinces of Zambia who will venture into different business opportunities.
Through term course, teachers are coming together as shareholders in running multiple businesses centered on production and value addition. This is a point of divergence in the teaching sector, as term course is set to bring about not just positive but productive change in the teaching fraternity by calling on everyone in our fraternity to join hands towards the fulfillment of financial emancipation for teachers.
With the vision of ending the problem that has affected teachers for a long time, Mr. Salah explains what business opportunities the cooperative will venture into.
What you have produced, you still need to eat. So you're going to eat what you have produced. You're going to drink what you have produced. So the target market The priority target market is the local market. And when you're talking local market, we are focusing on the teaching fraternity itself before we even go to the general public. And then now extending to that, we have Zambia Development Agency here, where TEMCOS is affiliated, has been affiliated since 2021. Being part of ZDA, they have a number of services that they offer as an agency. One of them is market linkage.
And cooperative member Chilekwa Mambwe took time to explain the benefit of joining the cooperative.
Those people that have knowledge on dairy farming will agree with us that right now there's a deficit of 12 million liters of milk every day. We need 12 million liters of milk. And Zamilk, which is under Zambif, the group of company, are ready to give us a contract. Parmalat, they have followed us, they are ready to give us a contract. So milk.
Through TEMCOS, I want to challenge teachers to make up their minds whether they want to continue borrowing at interest rates or they want to put money together and form a micro-lending institution through TEMCOS. 21 million kwacha, you can come up with a monster of a micro-lending institution.
Meanwhile, Ministry of Education Permanent Secretary for Technical Services Joel Kamoka, represented by Director Standard Priska Simkonda, has encouraged other teachers who cannot join the cooperative to emulate the initiative and earn themselves some resources.
As a ministry, having seen the viability of the concept on which this cooperative hinges, we are confident that this is a solution that is needed to bring about the much needed change. As a result, we are proudly launching this cooperative today and asking different stakeholders to partner with it in a quest to help it bring to fruition the desired results.
Initiatives such as cooperatives have the potential to contribute to the development of the country if well handled. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
You're watching Camnet News. We take our first set of commercials. When we return, we have more interesting stories. Stay with us.
We welcome you to the wonderful world of Savenda Electronics.
At Savenda Electronics, we pride ourselves in manufacturing high-quality electricity and water meters.
Boasting of the first of its kind state-of-the-art manufacturing plant in Zambia, Savenda Electronics manufactures customized smart electricity and water meters of international standards for both the local and international water and electricity utility companies. Our highly computerized factory, run by qualified staff, makes, calibrates, and electronically tests the smart meters to ensure only those meeting customer specifications are delivered to the market. Some of the main features which come with our meters includes notifications about low units, tempering, low battery, and many more customized features. Savenda Electronics provides on and off-site after-sales service and has favorable contract terms for water and electricity utility companies. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes, and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Do you have an extra car? Then make yourself extra money. We would like to put that car, yes, that car parked there, to good use to make you extra money on the side just through its service while keeping it safe and secure. Call 0765 02 3883 to register your vehicle with us today. Delpo Services. Service beyond satisfaction.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying on. The Operation Young Vote Executive Director Ges Nyirenda says Zambians should hold public office bearers accountable, especially those that are holding political office. Mr. Nyirenda was speaking during the launch of a project, a Follow Your Vote campaign initiative, which is hoped to build capacity amongst the youth through the engagement of elected leaders. Meanwhile, a Lusaka-based youth, Philip Sakala, says the initiative will help hold the public officers accountable, especially those holding political office.
Accountability is one of the bedrocks of respective government, as it provides a check on individuals once elected betraying the promises they made during the campaign. An accountable political system is one where both the government and the elected members of parliament are responsible to their citizens to the highest degree possible. A Lusaka-based youth, Philip Sakala, says the Follow Your Vote campaign will help hold the elected accountable for manifestos made before elections. The Follow Your Vote campaign is an initiative by the Operation Young Vote aimed at having interactions between the elected and electorate. Mr. Sakala told this reporter that the Zambian youth will immensely benefit from the matters affecting the nation.
So the Follow Your Vote campaign will see to it that the youth of Zambia and the nation at large benefit of the national cake in all areas of development. Meaning that whatever was promised before election date, whatever was put on the table in terms of a manifesto is going to come to fruition and is going to materialize. As you may be aware, a lot of things were said before campaigns, and that led to a lot of candidates winning the elections on an account of their manifesto. So now that we are post-elections, what next?
Meanwhile, Operating Young Vote Executive Director Ges Nyirenda says the Follow Your Vote campaign initiative will help build capacity among the youth through the engagement of the elected leaders.
It is now conducting a campaign we are calling Follow Your Vote campaign. And this Follow Your Vote campaign is basically a campaign meant to continue to have this interaction between the elected or the duty bearers and the electors, the electorates, who are the rights holders, that that interface continues. We want to do away with this culture where when a leader is elected they disappear, and the only time they come back to us is when they want an election, when they are campaigning to be elected again. So as an organization, we have coined this particular innovation.
On the broader picture, voters must be able to influence the shape of the country, either by altering the collision of parties in power or by throwing out office a single party which has failed to deliver. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Civil Servants and Allied Workers Union of Zambia has urged the United Party for National Development Administration to quickly undertake reforms to the National Pension Scheme Authority NAPSA Act. Union President David Chiobe says NAPSA reforms are key in aiding civil servants to own decent housing, among other social protection requirements. He was speaking during the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the union and Horizon Properties Limited, which will see civil servants having access to own a house under flexible terms.
The national housing deficit stands at 2.8 million units, and it is projected to double by 2025 according to UN Habitat. Due to the lack of affordable housing, about 70% of urban dwellers live in unplanned settlements with inadequate access to safe, clean water, sanitation, hygiene, and extension facilities. Friday, 25th March 2022, Horizon Properties Limited signed a memorandum of understanding with the Civil Servants and Allied Workers Union of Zambia to facilitate access to housing under the Horizon Green Village. So Kiwe Pindi is Horizon Properties Chief Executive Officer.
So we are here to showcase that Zambian problems need Zambian solutions. We have embarked on a project, housing project in Congo district called the Green Horizon Green Housing Project. This project is anchored on sustainability and affordability.
And we pray that other unions, be it public sector or the private sector, will take a leaf from what is happening today, and they will also implement similar schemes. You've set the tone, keep it up, and let it spread like wildfire. We all know, ladies and gentlemen, that housing is a necessity, not just at the time of retirement, but even now as we exist in our various portfolios, in our various jobs.
And Civil Servants and Allied Workers Union of Zambia President David Chiobe says NAPSA reforms are vital in safeguarding the plight of workers in the country.
Yeah, when we closed the last regime, we closed on that note in Livingston when we were saying NAPSA reforms, NAPSA reforms. SG, you are witness. Labour Commissioner, you are witness. We are in the new Dawn government, where the president is on record and has said, can people start accessing their money when they are around 50 years, when they still have energy? We will continue to speak about NAPSA reformation because that's a key, that's a solution to these people's lives. Without reforming NAPSA, even what we are talking today is dead.
Zambia Congress of Trade Union General Secretary Cosmas Mukuka has assured that NAPSA reforms are top on the agenda during the tripartite Labour Council.
But I'm comfortably saying that the reforms of NAPSA are part of the tripartite agenda. And then the issue of getting lump sum of NAPSA from NAPSA is part of the agenda again. Part of the agenda items is even there is a proposal from PS, which Commissioner is also supposed to speak to. He has been given a lot of items to speak to. He will be the main speaker at the tripartite. One of such a paper we are supposed to react to, which is in my office, is that one of, apart from getting lump sum, even accessing part of the lump sum whilst you are working is also something we are discussing.
And Labour Commissioner Givens Muntengwa has assured that challenges facing the workers have been taken care of.
Confirm that indeed that is one of the topics that will be considered, and I will not therefore go ahead of the tripartite to arrive at a resolution that they will come up with, but I suspect looking at the discussions around, we should be able to have a positive outcome.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
The Examination Council of Zambia ECZ says it has put in place access arrangements for all special needs pupils aimed at supporting education. Speaking during a donation of sanitary towels to University Teaching Hospital Special Needs School, ECZ Council Secretary Tezam Sakanya says examiners have also been trained to ensure that the marking of scripts for learners with special education needed is centrally done for quality assurance purposes. A total of 624 packets of sanitary towels has been donated to girls at UTH Special School, also aimed at supporting girls' attendance in class. Unworried, for them, this is their normal life. Children living with various forms of disabilities, otherwise known as special needs, University Teaching Hospital Special Needs School, catering for children with various needs such as hearing impairment, physically challenged, visually impairment, among them 164 boys and 109 girls, being managed by 51 qualified teachers. Friday, the Examination Council of Zambia visited the school with great news regarding their plight, among them the innovations the council has introduced to promote inclusive education.
Examinations, they must be fair. So the provisions that we give to ensure that there is fairness in the manner that examinations are written and also that examinations are accessed by the individuals with special educational needs. And these are what we call access arrangements. I'll start with the access arrangements that we give for learners with visual impairment. The group of visual impairment learners includes those that are totally blind and those with partial sight who have a condition of low vision. So for these, when we prepare the test items, we modify them. By modifying the test items, we remove all the information that is like, that has a nature of drawing. We take out tables, we take out diagrams, and all.
The school administration also requested ECZ to consider putting up an examination center, adding that sending pupils to write examinations from different schools affect their learning outcomes.
Sanitary towels will help the girls to attend classes regularly, even when it's in line with the Ministry of Education, encouraging more learners to stay in school. This donation is supporting menstrual education in schools. Actually, we do have lessons, especially the guidance center for grade 7 and grade 9 final examination, while our grade 12 learners go to right from Nali Boys Secondary School. However, we receive reports from our learners who go to other centers that they are not free because the environment becomes new to them and maybe this affects their performance. In line with the above statement, we are asking the Examination Council of Zambia to consider us for grade 12 center and grade 9 and 12 external centers.
We usually go to Munali Secondary School, which is very far and not familiar to us. And as a result, we have poor performance. In some cases, results go missing too. And we would also like to thank you in advance, and we are looking forward for a positive result.
And ECZ Secretary Teza Msakanya further put a smile on their faces with the news of a donation of sanitary towels for the girls.
I'd like to make a donation towards empowering the girl child, especially the girl child with special educational needs. And also we indicate that this type of support that we are providing here today is in form of sanitary towels. We are donating a total of 624 packets of sanitary towels to the girls at this school, each containing 8 towels.
For Camnet News in Lusaka. Interesting. You're watching Camnet News. We take another set of commercials. When we return, we have sports and international news. Stay with us.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry. There's so much data.
Mom.
Yes, baby.
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
Savenda. Save nations, develop Africa. Connecting African countries to each other and connecting the African continent to the world. This logistics and global supply chain management group offers end-to-end solutions across all sectors of the economy. Agriculture, energy, telecommunications, finance, construction, transportation, and insurance. And now, its initiatives are greener than ever, operating in line with government guidelines and working to provide energy security for Zambia and beyond. 25 companies united under one group and one vision. Savenda, trade and logistics made easy.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying on. The rebels in Tigray region, who have been waging war on the Ethiopian army for 17 months, committed to a ceasefire Friday. The move came a few hours after the Ethiopian government announced an unlimited humanitarian truce. On Friday, the fighters from Tigray People's Liberation Front agreed to uphold a ceasefire in a war-torn northern region to allow for the delivery of aid. In an official statement, the rebels said they were committed to implementing a ceasefire of hostilities with immediate effect and asked Ethiopian federal authorities to deliver emergency aid to Tigray. Here is a roundup of international news.
On Friday, the fighters for the Tigray People Liberation Front agreed to hold a ceasefire in the war-torn northern region to allow for the delivery of aid. In an official statement, the rebels said they were committed to implementing a cessation of hostilities with immediate effect and asked Ethiopian federal authorities to deliver emergency aid to Tigray. The move comes after the government called for an immediate humanitarian truce on Thursday to give way for unimpeded relief supplies into Tigray. Nearly 2 years into the war, fighting in the Afar region had so far prevented convoys carrying food aid and fuel from delivering the supplies, since the only operational road between Semera, the capital of Afar, and Mekele, the capital of Tigray, was blocked. UN High Commissioner for Human Rights denounced earlier this month the hostilities which created a de facto blockade. According to the UN, since mid-February, humanitarian operations had to relocate to serve the needs of more than 400,000 displaced civilians.
Togo's former Prime Minister Gilbert Rongbo was elected this Friday as the Director General of the International Labour Organization, ILO. Rongbo is the first African to occupy this position. The former Prime Minister succeeds former British trade unionist Guy Ryder, who's been in office for 10 years. Gilbert Rongbo of Togo was the Deputy Director of ILO between 2013 and 2017 and was in charge of field operations. His main opponent was former French Labour Minister Muriel Pénicaud, who was backed by Paris and the European Union. The Director General will take up his position in October.
In the rubble of this building, the search continues. Not for life, but for the dead. Bombs ripped through the Kharkiv administration building on March 1st, leaving only debris, twisted metal and dust. One bomb came through the roof. Others fell outside, leaving a crater and destruction for all to see. We catch the workers on a break. They tell us over the last few days they've found 4 bodies. Day after day, they return.
I think many here face such a large number of victims among civilians for the first time. As they say, one death is a tragedy, but 1,000 deaths are a statistic. Unfortunately, it's the truth.
They're under constant threat of further strikes.
We don't have time for feelings now. We put them aside. But we will have to deal with them later. It's not an easy process. Now we have work to do. We focus on it.
This was the kitchen to the cafe next door. Everything has been destroyed. Pink-walled cafe, pictures on the walls. But there's one thing that does stand out and is quite striking. You can smell the fact that there's still dead bodies, there's remains still here.
We're standing on 5th floor here. Most of us, it was military guys, we just received weapon.
We met Zhenya in the ruins of the building. He had just finished his morning briefing when...
And about 8 a.m. first rocket came and hit near this building. All windows were crashed, first injuries, and 10 minutes later I went down on 3rd floor and second rocket attacked this building right there, and everybody who was standing on each floor on that corner, everybody died.
So far, he hasn't been face to face with his enemy.
This war, Putin's war, is war of rockets, first of all, and most of our victims, also civilian victims, army victims, these victims is because of rockets, of bombing, of air attacks, and air attack or rocket attack. You just it's like lottery. It's like casino. You know, you can win or you can lose. I'm alive. My guys from my team, they are alive because we are lucky.
All the while, the search continues. A month into this war, they're still pulling out bodies on a daily basis. And workers here have told us that that grim task will continue until they've been through the entire building. And slowly, the body count rises. Rescue workers provide whatever dignity they can to their fallen countrymen. Asad Beg, Al Jazeera, Kharkiv.
But that's it for international news. We go straight into sports news. In sports, senior Chipolopolo boys Friday afternoon beat Congo Brazzaville in a friendly match played in Turkey by 3-0. The first goal came through skipper Enoch Mwepu, who calmly slotted in his penalty at the 19th minute. Zambia saw new legs with Emmanuel Banda going in for Mwepu while Shemi Muyembe went in for Roderick Kawe. There was a double substitution for Zambia. Kelvin Kampamba and Prince Mumba went in for Cletus Chama and Lamek Banda at 73. Zambia saw the final goal coming through Frankie Musonda. The Chipolopolo boys are set to play next in Benin on Sunday at the same venue. Well, those highlights from the match that was played this afternoon. And our news this evening, the headlines once again. Health Minister SYLVIA MASEBO attributes a debate on shortage of drugs to the opposition. United Party for National Development Councillor MAINDA SIMATAA admits to accusing patriotic funds given LUBINDA of corruption. Government to systematically clean up the civil service, Vice President Mutale Nalumango has revealed. In international news, Ethiopian rebels agree to uphold humanitarian ceasefire. And in sports news, CHIPOLOPOLO beat CONGO BRAZZAVILLE by 3-1. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day, and it's coming from Proverbs 16, verse 23 to 25, and it reads, "A wise heart instructs its mouth and increases learning with its speech. Pleasant words are a honeycomb, sweet to the taste and health to the body. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way to death." Well, thank you so much for watching Camnet TV. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. Good night.